want to share something that was heavy on my heart and I thought was important for perspective for those of us who are suffering, who get anxiety, who watch the news and we feel like we have to react. Most of it doesn't affect us too much. So we should try to be at ease. I mean, the idea is equanimity of mind is what the yogis speak of, equanimity of mind. And so we don't get ourselves all wrapped up in a ball over every news item that comes on. So I'm watching the insurgents. There's all these stories, news stories being generated about the insurgents and about what we should do. We can't do. Black people have been the victim of police brutality for 400 years. So if the police are fighting terrorists and they're white terrorists fighting white police, that's white people's problems. And I'm not saying it in a racist way. Of course, as Black Americans, we participate in whatever the choices are that our politicians make. But how we censor the president doesn't mean much to us. And the reason I say that to you is because we have an agenda. And we had an agenda 8 years ago or 12 years ago, and we didn't get a lot of it done. Today, if we have a focus, and it's governmental, it should be equal high quality health care. It should be equal high quality education. It should be women's rights. It should be raising the minimum wage. It should be fixing the tax code that so underserved community members get taken care of. It should be redistributing some police funds so we have programs in our community that will help us to stop violence and will help us to promote mental health so that then the police or the law enforcement will be more effective. It should be the police reform bill, which has been introduced into Congress. We have an agenda. We can't worry about whether they impeach or what. Do we want to go into a long period of impeachment where that's all they talk about? Or do we want to get our agenda done while we have the Senate, the Congress, and the president? Those people ain't going to do for you, your own government, unless you make them. And if they go off on a tangent, then that's not supportive of what we need. We can't depend on the next administration. We have one now coming into office and we voted them in because we wanted the minimum wage raised. We wanted education to be fair and just and equal high quality. We wanted health care to be fair, and we got proof that our health care ain't shit. We have proof that we're suffering in so many areas, and we have had this proof. We have proof of police brutality, and we have a police reform bill, although some of the important provisions are hidden, they're there. We want to get prosecutors to prosecute bad police. And if we can change that, make that one systematic change, then we can. And that bill is there. It was introduced by Madam Vice President and Cory Booker. And it was produced and promoted by the Black Congress, and Congresswoman Bass put it into works. But our Congress is afraid of the police union. So the only way we're going to beat the police union is if the people push. We have to focus our energy on the good we can do now that we're in office. And as far as the breach of the Congress, that is a very scary thing to some. But to us, they've been breaching us for 400 years. So it's now time for us to do our job, pushing those people that we put in office to do the work that we need done. So that's it. It's a very, and reparations. Yes, thank you. So I want to open the floor up a little bit. But yes, of course we want to talk about repairing the past. It doesn't have to be equal high quality education and equal high quality healthcare. That repairs the past some, but maybe there are support systems since they redlined Black districts and didn't loan us money. Maybe there are support systems since Black people have been suffering under the hands of a white supremacist government for 400 years. Maybe there's some things we can do that are, and I'm not going to write the bill for reparations. I simply know that there are things we can do to empower our communities and put extra resources in our communities to get us out of the predicament that white America has put us in. So I think that all the people who march with you, all of the conscious white people who saw and were amazed, although we were not amazed, at the way the police treated those terrorists versus the way they treated the Black Lives Matter people. White people are shocked by that. I saw CNN, they went crazy over that. CNN went insane. They couldn't believe that these white people, privileged people, were able to breach the Pentagon, but yet we couldn't even get on the steps. We couldn't even get close. This is what we have to let them deal with. Our focus has to be, and I'm not saying we shouldn't speak about it, but our focus has to be the agenda that we have, that we promised ourselves we were going to get done. The reason we went to vote, the reason we flipped Georgia, the reason we put a Biden in office. Maybe he can do it. Sometimes black people can't do what white people can do. Like Obama obviously couldn't do what Trump did. He'd have been impeached a long time ago. But Biden, maybe Biden can really promote the kind of inclusivity that women have been praying for and that our world needs in order to go forward. The future has to be more inclusive, more brown, more collaborative, but more brown, more conscious, and more feminine. Our feminine natures of thoughtfulness, compassion, measured choices have to be made so that in the way that they were made with Corona, with all the feminine leadership, that's not only women, but this divine feminine quality that's been blocked out of government. Angry, mean white men, toxic masculinity should not be our leadership. We have now a thoughtful, by all indications, fairly sweet man and a wonderful woman in office. They can look to compassionate policies. We certainly have to stop the factory farming industry and the global warming. Factory farming industry is the number one reason for global warming. We have to stop those things. So we have so much on our agenda. I don't want to spend more time on Trump. Our time should be used pushing these congressmen and senators to introduce bills that will make a huge difference in our lives. So that's what matters to me. I'm going to take a few questions and I'm going to go to class. Do we take some questions? How you guys doing this morning? Hey, Jessica. I keep saying it because your name keeps popping up. Trump, yeah, it's a waste. Charles X, let's get Charles. Let's get Adrian. Let me hear what he has to say. And then we'll get Charles.
Energy. It is shocking that they were able to get in there, but what white people have been able to do to black Americans, other people around the world is enough proof that we can expect these kind of things, but we can change them through this government that we have today. What's up?
Hey,
Adrian?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you,
Happy
man.
New Year to you, bro.
How you guys doing, man?
We're doing well. Brother
Good.
Gary's still in Jamaica. He's not back.
Oh, wow. Salute to the collective. Surely, man, it has been a challenge, man. When you think about this insurrection, Uncle Russ, and you think about all the work that has happened in civil rights, when you think about folks like me who spent time in prison, it's a slap in the face. It's not our fight, I know. And I agree with you. I concur, that we need to just hold the line and push while we can, while we got the Senate and the House. But it's just so, it's so upsetting. But, I sent you
It's a reminder. Mm-hmm. But white people never seen it. We've been abused by police. We've been compromised. We've been redlined. We've been all these things that they had blinders on. And even people who claim to be good, the reason the black Muslim said the white man was a devil, because they turned their head. Not always intentionally, but they turned their head. So now seeing these white people run up in the Capitol and treat their police the way they treated them and do what they did and disrespect the flag and disrespect them. Now seeing that, maybe we'll have them, I see CNN, they're going crazy. Let them all work on that. Let us continue to push forward. That's just my message today that God whispered in my ear to say. It's just me saying to, when I put it up, I don't know, a few thousand people will see it, but it's a message that I think is very important, that we have to move forward. We have now, we cannot afford, President Obama, God bless him, spent a lot of time on health care, but nothing on prison reform.
That's
he
important.
spent a lot of time on, he made a a pact with France, the Paris Accord, but what did we really do about new forms of energy? What did we really do about the suffering of black people? And did we even discuss reparations? Did we even discuss the things that black people need and poor people and underserved community members need from our government? Not as much as we might have. And now we have a new administration. You know, Republicans got in office. They did everything they wanted. They put in 200 judges. They went, and so did George Bush. There was no friendly. And Joe Biden can say it as nicely as possible. I believe that his agenda is one that is uplifting to the collective. That it's not, and it should not be polarizing, but it is, but polarizing to say we want to give equal high quality education to people in communities, and that we want to give, that we want to protect, for instance, I don't know if the Democrats would never tell the FDA to stop promoting foods that promote cancer. Class A carcinogens should not be on the site of the American Cancer Institute.
And they need to tell the truth.
The causes of diabetes, that's because they're paid and they're partners with the factory farming industry. There is so much wrong with our government and so much, and his cabinet, yeah, I know, I see it. There are so many people who will allow it to continue, but we have to push them to do what they say. That's right. That's it. We want to get back out in the street. Don't get back out in the street about Trump. Don't waste our energy on Trump. All of our memes when we're communicating to each other should be about, oh, now we can pass the police reform bill. Now we can get prosecutors, because we can't march every time somebody gets shot. We need to have a prosecutor in place waiting to prosecute the minute that we find police bad behavior. We need that. And that's a law. That's systematic change.
And police immunity. You talked about that. You talk about that all the time. Police immunity. And I think, you know, if you put that kind of pressure on a police's partner to you know, they say the blue wall, you know, you got to protect your life.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.